It started out as a pleasantly undemanding little film festival aimed at people who liked French hit movies with glamorous stars. And it's turned into rather more than that. In fact, this year the French Film Festival Aotearoa is boasting it's the nation's biggest, opening across the country in 24 towns and cities. Not even the international festival can claim that this year. And the secret of its success is simple. It's unashamedly populist. Not just award-winning films from France, but chock full of famous French names. The Count of Monte Cristo, singer Charles Aznavour, composer Maurice Ravel, the world's first superstar Sarah Bernhardt, art, food, and of course love, toujours l'amour. Well, I'm joined by the festival's longtime director, Fergus Grady. Hi, Fergus.
Salut, Simon.
So this is a dazzling selection this year, isn't it?
Yeah, we're thrilled. The names you've just mentioned on top of the award winners, which we can go into, but it's 23 outstanding French films and can't wait to screen them. And
this year it's also a tribute to your colleague, festival owner Simon Werry, or should I say Chevalier Simon Werry.
Yeah, no, very exciting for Simon and the family and all of the staff that work on the festival. It's an amazing recognition. He's, I believe, one of 4 New Zealanders to have won this Chevalier Award alongside Sir Peter Jackson, Witi Irameyer and Dame Fiona Kidman.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Simon Werry, I just know is that he owns my local cinema, but I'm delighted to see that he's been ennobled.
Yeah, and Simon will be wearing his Chevalier badge through the Cannes Film Festival next week, so I'm sure he's proud about his award.
Generally, when we talk about the festival, we normally open with the prestigious prize winners, and you've got a number of those, including a film called My Brother's Band, which did very well in Cannes last year, I believe.
Yeah, My Brother's Band was a huge hit in France. It is a real crowd pleaser. Anyone who's interested in music and small town France and just real people, and I think people will love this film. It's about 2 estranged brothers who come together through the joy of music, and there's a lot of drama that happens in between.
Well, that's the thing, of course, because whenever I think of the French Film Festival, I think of big hits in France. But in fact, you've got quite a few classy items in there as well, haven't you? I mean, there are a number of other big successes at festivals.
Yeah, I think we've got 6 César awards throughout the lineup, including 2 each from Holy Cow, which is a remarkable film from a first-time filmmaker, Louise Cavoursier, and her cast of non-actors, as well as The Count of Monte Cristo, which won 2. The lineup's really been recognised this year by the French film industry, and we're just profiling the best of French cinema that we've been able to program.
But in fact, I think this year the stars of the show, in a sense, are the subjects. It's as if you sort of said, what are the most famous things in France? We're going to put all of them in the festival this year. Though there's one anomaly. There's a film here called Jane Austen Wrecked My Life, which I would have thought would have been better suited to your other festival, the English-Irish Festival.
Yeah, no, this is a really sweet film. I mean, predominantly French. There's a few interactions in English, but we start off in Paris. And Agathe, who's played by Camille Rutherford, works in the famous Parisian bookshop Shakespeare & Co.
Oh, I've been there. That's
and
great.
It's very tongue-in-cheek, the whole film. She gets invited to the prestigious Jane Austen residency in England, and then she meets her kind of Mr. Darcy along the way. So it's very fun, and I'd highly recommend. That's one of the centerpiece films that we're presenting.
But you do have a parade of famous French men and women who might need perhaps a little bit of introduction here. Charles Aznavour, I do know. I mean, he's essentially the male Edith Piaf in some respects, isn't he? Brilliant balladeer.
He is, and Edith Piaf actually does turn up in the film, and it's a really interesting relationship between Aznavour and Piaf as a sort of mentor. It's an interesting power dynamic between them.
The one that I'm most interested in actually is Sarah Bernhardt. Now, I only know 2 things about Sarah Bernhardt, apart from the fact that she's extremely famous, or was extremely famous at the turn of last century. One was that she played Hamlet at one stage, and the other one is that she lost a leg, and I think that the 2 happened together.
I don't know that story, but I think, our main actress, Cedrine Kiberlan, is an amazing performance of Sarah Bernhardt. And it's a really nice film. It's a short runtime, and highly recommend to see the divine Sarah Bernhardt.
And there's another one, which is the story behind one of the most popular pieces of music ever written. This is Bolero by Maurice Ravel. When you hear it, you think, wow, what a great piece of music. But I know nothing about how it came about.
Yeah, I think he was quite a frustrated composer. He had a lot of writer's block, and this piece came out of nowhere and projected him into the stratosphere of composing. And I believe that every 15 minutes, his piece of music is played somewhere in the world right now. Often
involving ice skating, I seem to remember. Yeah. But also you got other big names as well. I mean, I love this one. This is Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, who quite a regular appearer in movies. But I love the title of it. It's called The Deluge, because his grandfather, I think, or one of the late Louis said, "After me, the deluge." And this is basically what happened after him.
Yeah, it's not a happy story, but I think it's a really compelling piece of French history with the monarchy and what happened at the turn of the French Revolution.
I think another one that people are probably looking forward to, because it's one of the most famous books in the world, which is the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, we've been able to get the New Zealand premiere for this, which we're very excited. It's a film that is long, but it doesn't feel the 3 hours and 15-minute runtime that it is. We've only been able to secure a number of screenings on weekends and long weekends, so I'd highly recommend people book their tickets, as they're already starting to fill up. But yeah, definitely one not to miss.
And one thing that I've noticed also is a lot of films about food, wine and cheese.
Easy sell, Simon. We've been able to partner with one of our favourite sponsors here in Auckland, Maison Veron, to present some cheese tastings along with the film Holy Cow. So
brilliant.
Listeners should check out the website or the booklet to see where those screenings are taking place. And it's a free cheese for the normal admission. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
And I'm assuming that there are the usual amount of love stories, which I think are your stock in trade really in the French Film Festival, aren't they? They're the ones that people tend to queue up to go to.
Yeah, I mean, anything that has romance or comedy or both in the same kind of ilk. We have Beating Hearts, which has been a big hit in France. Again, it's a very indulgent runtime at 161 minutes, but the director Gilles Lelouch is well known to everyone, I think, from his acting and directing, and it's an amazing cast and a very, very French film, Beating Hearts.
I noticed that you've not only got one film about art thefts, but you've got a couple, I think.
Yeah, we've got The French Job, which is about a famous robbery or theft in Paris in 2010. And we've also got The Stolen Painting, which is a little bit more of a fictional story, but both deal with kind of valuation and the value of art in modern society.
I think that one thing that people are going to be asking you, is there a film starring Laure Calamy and is there a film starring Catherine Deneuve?
So yes, there is a Laure Calamy film, and it's called How to Make a Killing, which is kind of a Coen Brothers Fargo French interpretation. I would liken it to Fargo. There's no Catherine Deneuve films in the lineup this year, which is quite disappointing. But we're tracking a couple of films that she's in production on and hoping to present those next year.
The star I always rather like is Camille Cottin, who mostly turns up in coffee commercials these days, but she's another of the great stars of Call My Agent, which I always rather liked.
Yeah, we love Camille Cottin and we love Call My Agent at the festival. And we have Three Friends, which premiered in Venice Film Festival last year. And it's a very walkie-talkie kind of film, and as these three women divulge their lives and what's going on, we kind of understand the plot lines and where the intersections happen between their husbands. Yeah, it gets quite twisty.
Oh no, we love those ones. I'd like to finish up actually, Fergus, by wondering why French films are so popular. They are very distinct and they make no effort to win over anybody else. They say, look, this is what we make. We love these films.
Yeah, I think French cinema is so unique. I watch a lot of cinema from around the world, and there's no other country that tries to produce distinctive, original stories like the French. They're not afraid to take risks. They have an incredible production industry, and I think their exporting of French culture is best seen through their cinema. And actually we're celebrating the 80th year of diplomatic relations between France and New Zealand, so it's a good reason to come out to the French Film Festival.
Fergus Grady, director of the French Film Festival, which plays around the country from May the 28th to the end of June. Well worth a look, but I suspect many of you won't need to be told that.